Hey, good morning, everybody. This is Brad Lewis with Premier Marketing. Thanks for joining us today and taking time out of your busy day. We look forward to providing some important updates from Transamerica today. And we have a special guest with us, and his name is Jeremiah Tacker. Jeremiah is our Regional Vice President for Sales from Transamerica and is actually new to Premier. So if you haven't had the opportunity to talk to Jeremiah as he works through his relationship with all of our agents here at Premier, make sure you let your marketer know that you'd like an introduction. He'd love to talk to all of you and get to know you better and make sure that he can help you with your business with Transamerica. So Transamerica has been one of our key partner relationships from the very beginning of our evolution into Final Expense, and they've always been a great partner. And we're excited to give some updates today on the immediate solutions Final Expense plan that they have available. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Jeremiah.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Brad. I appreciate it, and so happy to be on with you guys today. I'm a little upset. I got up, I showered, I shaved for you guys, and then sharing the screen doesn't really look great in a basement that you're currently updating. So that we're trying to put together. So I'm not on screen today, but you will. I think I might have a picture of myself in this webinar, maybe. Otherwise, I probably talked to most of you, but definitely, like Brad said, we'll be diving in more at a deeper level, reaching out to you individually, especially for those of you that are doing a lot of Transamerica business, and also for those of you that aren't doing maybe a lot of Transamerica business, and talking to you about why you should and what I can do and Brad and his team can do to help help make that business easier and better for you guys to bring you on with us. So with that, I appreciate the introduction, Brad. Give you a little background on myself. So my name is Jeremiah Tacker. I'm the Regional Vice President of the Heartland region for Transamerica Life Insurance Company. So I've been in the industry for 16 years now. Hard to believe, but it's gone quickly, and I've learned a ton, which this industry can do for you. So 16 years in the industry. I've been licensed for 10 and selling and running an agency for part of that time as well, and I'll kind of talk a little bit about that. But previously I was, I was with Transamerica from 07 to 17. I actually started my career with them right out of the gate, out of college. And worked on a lot of different business areas. So I was in commissions, contracting, licensing, all those different areas, learning just the gamut of life insurance and how the corporate world works and how the process of doing business in a life insurance company works, which is great. It's beneficial for me, and it worked out really well. It helped me transition to the sales side in 2012, where I was an internal wholesaler, doing a lot of the same stuff. On the sales desk, running quotes, illustrations, talking about products, doing presentations, those types of things. In 2013, though, I wanted to be licensed, so I went and took my life and health exam. I passed on the second time. So for those of you that are with me in that same retrospect, you didn't go in and nail it the first time. I'm there with you. It took me 2 times to pass it, but got it. And then started selling part-time. So Transamerica allowed me to do that back then, and do a lot of personal sales, part-time sales outside of office time. In 2017, unfortunately, I left Transamerica. I went into full-time personal production, and then I partnered up with an agency owner. He was an older gentleman looking to retire. Failing agency. I came in, provided the spark that he needed, helped him build back the agency, and then shortly after that, he retired, and I became principal of that agency. I ran that for a few years after that, and then here in February, recently, I just came back to Transamerica, and I'm excited to be back. I'm excited to do this stuff, share all my experiences, share some of the stuff that we're doing, which is exciting things that are going on right now in Transamerica, and a lot of things that you guys are going to appreciate and love, I think, as far as the help we're going to give you, the support, and then some of the things we're doing with our Final Expense and other products that can benefit you guys in doing more business with us. So along with that, what I always like to say is if you're involved in one of my webinars, I don't do a lot of product stewage. I talk a lot about sales and how you can talk to clients about these things and what concepts you have. And so I do recommend you have a notepad out. One for all, you can take notes on all the niche items that we have and some of the things that we do that you can, you can market us for. And then secondly, I always say, have that notepad out and think about clients. I mean, why not use this time when you're going through this to think about clients that this product might benefit or that you can talk to them about? And that could be clients you've had for years that might benefit from this. That might be clients that you maybe have coming up, or some people that you have on the docket to reach out to that might benefit from this. And also another way for this is might be something where you can market too. Like where can I take items that are beneficial or that Transamerica is doing in market, whether it's on social media, whether it's email blasts, whatever it may be, where can I market to those folks? Can I buy leads? Is it marketing here? Is it marketing there? What posts can I share? What things can I talk about that might grab me more clients? So I recommend do those things. Those are things I always did as an agency owner, as an agent, to make sure that I can take this and put it right into work for me, making, helping more clients and making more money. And that's what I want to do for you guys. You guys take an hour out of your day to talk with me, and I want to share things that are going to help you benefit immediately from this. And that's in your next phone call, your next meeting, to help you, again, get more clients and make more money, right? So with that, I will jump in. I think there's a chat and stuff that you can jump into. I don't know if you can come off mute, but if you have questions, feel free to type them in. It looks like I can see the chat, so if you type those in, I'm more than happy. I'll be looking at that, and I'll be more than happy to stop and answer those questions. And don't hesitate to put those questions in at any time. I'll stop at any time and answer your questions. We want to make sure that we benefit you guys. That's what we're here for today. So, talking about the final expense, what are we going to talk about today? Well, we're going to talk about our commitment, a little bit about the product overview and some sales ideas, how to engage with your clients on this product. We'll look at the streamlined process. We'll talk about the iGo e-app updates and e-delivery. We'll talk a lot about the underwriting updates, because there's been a ton of changes in the last 3 to 4 months that you guys are going to be really excited about. I almost just want to jump right to those and start with that, but I want to keep that suspense building. So that will come. Trust me, you will see a lot of the underwriting changes that we're doing, and I'll go through a lot of the things and rules of our application and how you can identify what clients are right for this product and you. And then we'll talk about some other information, additional resources that can benefit you, as far as where you can find things about Transamerica and how you can get more information on us and have that available to you at your fingertips. So with that, I want to touch on our leadership team very briefly. This is one of the reasons why I stepped away from my agency and came back to Transamerica as a leadership team. Transamerica has always been near to dear to my heart, and because that's where I started my career, and they gave me a boost off in my career. But this team right here is different than any other team that I've worked for. This team right here is engaged with you. They're engaged with us. They want to learn. They want to know what we can do to be better, and they put those things into action. These things don't fall on deaf ears. They don't fall into a black hole. These things are being heard, and they're trying to be put into action in every way, shape, or form. Now, again, we can't take everything that you guys do, but we take a lot of the things that we think would be good, and which is, a high percentage of them, we want to try to put them in place. So that's something this leadership team is doing, and it's why I love working with them, currently, and will continue to love working with them, I believe, as they're doing some great things. So I know Brad mentioned marketers, and you guys have your support there. Now, I don't want to overstep any boundaries and say you need to come to us. That's not what I'm saying here. We want to be additional contacts, additional resources for your teams there at Premier, right? Those guys are your go-to. I mean, those guys you built relationships with, and you have those things going for you. Work with them. They're great resources. They're knowledgeable. They know what they're doing. So definitely work with them. But we want to give you support at Transamerica directly as well. There's no harm in having, as much support as possible, right? So this is my contact information along with my team. That's my direct cell phone. If you need to call or text me anytime, you definitely can do that. I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can and pretty responsive in most cases. And then there's my email as well. So that's my office email. You can email me there as well. The thing why I have these two gentlemen next to me is because I'm constantly, like today, I have 3 webinars today. And I travel quite a bit. So I'm not as available as I would like to be. And that's not saying don't reach out to me. It's just saying, hey, I'm not available, but we have other team members. And that's why I have these guys on the screen. James and Jason are 2 phenomenal folks that work for me, 2 phenomenal guys that I've met with, I've talked with. We have conversations, daily. We're always talking about how we can provide better support for you guys. So overall, what we can do for you is provide that overall support. So we can run quotes, we can run illustrations, we can answer product questions, we can talk about sales ideas, concepts. In the overall basis of support, we can give that to you. If you have issues, going to some of our other teams and getting not a proper response, but a timely response, you can reach out to us and we can help facilitate that, maybe escalate it, maybe do those types of things if needed. So those are things that we can do. We do ask, like, if you do call us for quotes or illustrations, make sure that you are, if you can at all possible, make sure you're in front of your computer and you have the illustration or quoting software brought up. We're supporters, we want to be teachers as well. I can't see any names on the screen. Normally I can, so I pick on people, but I'll pick on Brad. So we'll just pick on Brad for the time being here. He'll be my guinea pig for today. So, if I go into a home and, I go in and I can't run an illustration, I can't answer some of their questions, and I have to leave the home and then maybe set up another appointment to come back after I have some things from them. But Brad comes in, half hour later than me, and he can run an illustration. He answers all their questions. Like, who do you think that person's going to buy from, right? They're going to probably buy from Brad, correct? I mean, he can run the illustration. He's knowledgeable. He answers their questions. How much trust do they have in me when I got to come back and set up another appointment to take care of it, when Brad can take care of it right there and get everything going? So that's what we want to provide to you guys. And so I do say that's Jason and James' office line. That's their office email. Please reach out to them. You can call me if I don't answer on the first time, and trust me, I try to, because I know you're busy and I'm busy. I don't want to play phone tag. And so I try to answer the first time. If you don't get me, reach out to James or Jason directly. And in my out of office email, if it's there, go ahead and email James and Jason. And you can include me in there if you'd like, or you can email them directly and then CC me in on it. That way they'll get my out of office. And again, they'll know I'm out. They can take the lead on it. But if you put us all on there, somebody will definitely take the lead on it, as we communicate very well and want to get you taken care of. So we are your direct contact, direct support for sales things, and then any escalation things that you need if you're not getting proper responses at Transamerica. Now I would say we are definitely secondary to your marketing support there at Premier. But also, last but not least, there's an 866 number. So again, if you can't get a hold of anybody at Premier, or you can't get a hold of the 3 of us, you can call that 866 number. That will get you into the total to all the internal wholesalers, and the first available person will pick up your phone call and answer those questions for you. So now that you have some background on me, now you know additional support that you have, what are we going to talk about today? Well, we're going to talk about the final expense product, right? So our final expense product includes 3 products: the immediate solution, the 10-pay, and the easy solution. The immediate solution, level premiums, age 121, 0 to 85 issue ages, that's important. Max 50,000, that's also important. Death benefit available day 1 on this product. We do have some additional benefits that are added in that the clients automatically get. One is the accelerated death benefit rider with nursing home benefits. That is a very popular one. Clients really like this, and how it works is, if your client goes to the doctor and that doctor says it confines them to a nursing home and says they have to remain there until death, then they can accelerate their face amount to help pay for those nursing home costs, right? And the policy does have to be enforced for 90 days before you can take advantage of that. But that is how that works. They do have to be confined to a nursing home and the doctor has to say they have to remain there until death. We have the terminal illness. rider on there. That's self-explanatory. You guys know about that one. The accidental death, that's been around for a long time. Child and grandchild rider, though, that's one that's not unique to us, but we have that. It's not on all products. We do cover up to 9 children or grandchildren. So you can get coverage on them from 15 days to 18 years of age. And then it's convertible. So it's basically a guaranteed issue rider. So it's a term policy, kind of up to 5,000 you can get on each child. And it's guaranteed. We don't do any medical on them. And you can get that up to age 18, and then they can convert that up to age 25. If they don't convert it by the age 25, then it falls off the policy and it's no longer available to them. So definitely a unique rider, and I know a lot of grandparents take advantage of this, and parents as well. So definitely a good rider to bring up, because that's an optional rider, additional cost. The 10-pay solution. So all these products here that are listed, these are all in the same application, and they can all be done by e-app. So all in the same application, all be done by e-app. We do not have a guaranteed issue. We have a graded product, which I'll talk about in a second. So we don't have a guaranteed issue product. Again, that child and grandchild rider is a guaranteed issue rider for those children, but we don't have a guaranteed issue product in itself. We have a graded product, which I'll talk about in a second. But the 10-pay solution is a product that I think is forgotten about quite a bit. And I like the product for a couple different things. So one, I'm going to go through this real quick. So it is level premiums for 10 years. And the policy goes into paid up status. No more premiums are due, and that death benefit is there for the remainder of your life. That's how that product works. Again, it is 0 to 85, which is important. Goes up to 50,000, which is notable. Full death benefit day one. And it does have the additional riders built into it, but you cannot add any optional riders to it. And again, these two products are preferred and standard products. The 10-pay solution, why I like this product so much, and it's great for juveniles. One, that's probably the highest percentage of clients that I would write on this product. The reason is obviously the 10-pay is going to be a little bit more expensive than the immediate solution, because we're condensing all those premiums into 10 years. So it is going to be a little bit more expensive, but for juveniles, the rate difference, the premium difference between their policy for an immediate solution and their policy for a 10-pay solution is a lot smaller than it is for someone when you get a little bit older, right? The older you get, the wider that gap's going to be, where the immediate solution is going to be this amount and 10-pay is going to be, might be a little more expensive. So juveniles is where I really like to see this, because it would be great. I mean, imagine going to your client's home, writing this policy on their 15-year-old child, or sorry, 15-day-old child, because you can write this at 15 days old once they have a social security number, 15 days, and then by the time that child is 10, that child has, could be up to 50,000 in life insurance that's paid up, no more premiums are due. How powerful is that to bring to a family and talk to that family about this? Because in all my years of writing business and being an agency owner and talking to agents, this is the most probably heart-wrenching thing that I've come across is dealing with parents that have children that have issues where they're uninsurable, right? That's the most heart-wrenching thing. That those kids are so young, have so much life in front of them, but you can't get them life insurance until maybe a guaranteed issue comes along, which is probably not until their mid-30s, maybe even 40 years old, right? So they're uninsurable until that age, which is it's heart-wrenching to think about that. So that's why I like that, is because you can do that for those parents or even those grandparents, right? So getting in now off the juveniles and going into your older clients, right? So how do you sell that? I mean, how do you sell a more expensive product to someone? Well, here's my take on it, and you can come up with your own. You can utilize this however you want. But when I'm in the home, so we're gonna make Brad 50 years old today. I told you he's my guinea pig today. So Brad's gonna be 50 today. I don't know if he's 50 or not, to be honest with you. I'm scared. I didn't want to ask his age when we've hung out, so we're just gonna pretend he's 50 today, because the math works out, and this is the way I use for all my presentations. So if I'm in the home and I'm writing Brad an immediate solution, we've gone through everything. He loves the product. He's ready to go. I've talked to Brad. We ran an illustration. He's 50. We got him. Doesn't matter face amount, but premium was $70 a month. and I stop and I'm like, Brad, I know you love this. I want to share one thing with you because I want to put everything on the table to help you make a informed decision on how you want to set up your life insurance. So I know we talked about the immediate solution. Now you're going to be paying this for the rest of your life, right? We established that it's $70 a month every month for the rest of your life. I have a 10-pay solution option, and what that means is it's premiums for 10 years. I ran the quote, Brad, and it's going to be $110 a month. Now, if we do the math, Brad, at $70 a month times 12, and if you live, now we're going to just take an average human male lifespan, which is 82 years of age. So if you take $70 a month times 12 times 32, it's close to $27,000. That's what you're going to pay in total, if you pass away at that point in time. Now you could live longer, you could live shorter, but if we're just for this, example, we're taking an average lifespan of human male, that's $27,000 you're going to pay into this policy. Now, if we do the 10 pay, I know it's $40 more a month, but if you do the math, $110 times 12 times 10 is just over $13,000. So potentially, if it's in your budget to be able to pay that $40 more, we could potentially save you $14,000. And then you kind of shut up and let them make that decision. And that's a decision they have to make. And again, you're giving them a hypothetical, and it's beneficial to them. So you're not selling them something that's just benefiting you. It's beneficial to them because you're potentially saving them money, and they're making that decision based on what you provided to them. And then obviously you're increasing their premium by $40, which is increasing your commission. So you're both benefiting from this in one way, shape, or form, but they need to make that decision. That's how I kind of would sell that and how I've done that in the past. And then last but not least, we have our easy solution product. So our graded product, right? That's level premium, so 121. Issue ages are 18 to 80, so a little different. And then we have $25,000 max, so a little bit different there from our other products. Graded death benefit for the first 2 years. So that's premiums returned plus 10% for the first 2 years. Start of the third year is full death benefit, and then no riders available, right? So that's our kind of products at a glance and kind of some sales ideas that go around that. If we look at, where we win kind of against other carriers you might be looking at or talking to or maybe bring up in the conversation with Transamerica, how do we compare? So again, I told you issue ages were a little, were notable, right? So there you can see 0 to 85. We're the only carrier on this list that goes down to age 0. So if you're looking under the age of 40, we're probably your go-to. Above 40, again, we're going to be very competitive. I'll show you rates. I'll show you all the things of why we're going to be competitive and why we're actually probably more competitive right now than we ever have been via underwriting. We look at the $50,000 max. Again, half of the carriers listed there go up to $50,000. So your products narrow down. Your companies that are available narrow down. Risk class options. Now this is interesting because Transamerica still runs a preferred and standard. So does Foresters, as you can see. Everybody else went to a standard. So what does that mean? Well, it's a hybrid standard. So it's a standard that's in between a traditional and standard and traditional preferred. So you have your preferred, you have your standard, then you have your hybrid right in the middle. And that's what that standard rating is for those carriers, the hybrid standard. The reason I pointed out is, one, if you can get preferred with Transamerica, which I'm going to show you multiple ways where you can get multiple clients with multiple issues preferred, we're going to have a better rate, right? We're going to have a better rating than those hybrid standards. But I pointed out subjectively because our traditional standard rate is also very competitive with their hybrid standard. I will tell you, if you look at that, their hybrid standard is closer to a traditional standard rate than it is preferred. So it is going to be closer to that regular standard rate than it is preferred. Just to give you guys a heads up, I've done the quotes and illustrations and all that, and taken a look at it, and that's how it really pops up to view. We have our graded death benefit, which is 2 years. Couple go 3. Nursing home benefit rider. Again, we are one of 3 carriers that have that. So you cut these carriers in half that have that nursing home benefit. which I said is clients really enjoy that, like that option. We have the grandchild and child rider. This slide is actually outdated. American Amicable America do not have that rider, by the way. Or sorry, yes they do. I'm sorry, I'm moving down to Direct Express. Sorry. So, sorry, they do. We cut the carriers in half again with that grandchild and child rider, but we are the only carrier that covers up to 9. I don't know how many of the others do, but they're not as much as us. We do up to 9. We are the best carrier for Direct Express for the Social Security, because I will tell you that American Amicable and America do not have the Direct Express. They don't take the Direct Express card. So we do Social Security, and I'm telling you, we do it the best. I utilized it when I was an agent. Our team utilized it. Our agency did, because we do Social Security the best. We've been doing it for a long time. I will tell you flat out, we are the best at doing Social Security. One of those reasons is because we take that Direct Express card. And the benefit of that, for those of you that don't know, is just a card that the Social Security office provides to them that their Social Security check is put onto every month, right? The reason that's beneficial is because, one, if you have a bank account, that's great. But we can't get in and take that money out until the bank is operating, until it's open, right? We can't do that. It doesn't go through. So if a client comes in and takes out their money, which we know these clients are all unlimited income. So if they're open at 8 a.m., the client's probably there at 7:55, ready to walk in the door to get that money out, right? So that can increase the chargebacks and lapses with bank accounts, because we're not able to get all that money out before the clients do. We try our hardest to, but it's not a perfect scenario. But with a Direct Express, that money's put on like at midnight, the day of their Social Security deal. So we can actually get in shortly after that and take that money out, which benefits you because the client's not even awake to be able to take that money out, and we can do it while they're sleeping, which again allows more policies to stay in force and less chargebacks for you. That's why that Direct Express card is so important, and why we have added it to our Social Security, because it negates a lot of those lapses and chargebacks that using a bank account can give you if the company doesn't get in there in enough time and get that money out. So we are the only one on this list that does have that. And then we have our underwriting, which is now real-time decision. So it's instant decision process. So let's talk a little bit about this streamlined process that we have. So real-time decisions here. You're getting a decision now with Transamerica that's within minutes. When you issue a product, or when you send a policy into us, you're going to get that instant decision. Now, 70% of the time, right now, we are getting that back to you within minutes. 23% of our policies that come in are being referred to underwriter, and that is slowly decreasing. We are slowly getting more and more policies that are getting instant issue. By the end of the year, we'd like to be as close to 100% as physically possible. And so that's what you can see here throughout the end of the year. But right now it's at 77%. So over 2/3 or 3/4 of your policies we're getting back to you within minutes of you sending that in. The app is faster now. It's easier, less questions, and now we've added e-delivery, which is convenient for you and your client. And I'll share that in a little bit here. So what have we done? Well, we've expanded that the digital medical data, which gives us a higher percentage of real-time decisions, and that's continuing to increase. Underwriters only looking at a few things. As far as our application, we have one personal history section. We have 15 health or personal history questions in that section, which is about average. I think the lowest carrier has about 8 or 9. Average is between 12 and 15. We have one upfront eligibility question. And now we've shortened and condensed our application to 40 less input fields. And then again, policy e-delivery, which again, faster coverage and policy placement, and commissions faster for you guys as well. And I'll share a little bit more about that here in a second. So what are we looking at when it comes to the application? Well, we have this upfront eligibility question. It's weirdly worded, so it says, I confirm that I have not been diagnosed. So if you answer no, that means you're saying you're not confirming. So it's kind of a double negative with that question, but no means you're not confirming that you have been diagnosed with these. So yes means that you do confirm that you have not been diagnosed. So if you read it that way, which is the way I would read it to all my clients, is to start with the yes and say, do you confirm that you've not been diagnosed with these? And then you can answer that question instead of confusing them with the double negative. So go through that. That'll help eliminate clients if you cannot move forward with the application. Then you have your basic questions here. Your drug and alcohol abuse, your DUIs, your felonies, your height and weight, pretty standard questions. And then we get to select if they apply. So we're just selecting if these apply to the clients. Have they ever had heart disease? Have they, ever had cancer, COPD, congestive heart failure, diabetes, TIA? You're looking at all those things. Have they ever? And then you have your last set of questions. But the second to last questions is probably the one I want you to pay attention to the most, because that revolves around our activity credit. For those of you that don't know what that is, I'm going to explain that here in a little bit. But in a typical week, do you perform any intentional physical activity such as yard work, walking, exercise, or playing sports for at least 10 consecutive minutes? Now, this can be elaborated on, and I'm going to go into our product guide. Here, I like to show the product guide. We have slides in there, but I like to show the product guide because it gives you a little more information, especially on our medical conditions and lifestyle factors. So here's the activity credit. So I want to elaborate on that question a little bit. So what does it include? Well, it includes routine activities such as walking the dog, gardening, mowing the yard, other jobs requiring manual labor. Activities can also include jogging, running, elliptical, rowing machines, stationary bike, lifting weights, other common exercises. I think of things like pickleball. I think of things like, if they go swimming or they're doing water aerobics, if they're walking their child to school, that they're, if they're playing with their grandchildren every day, whatever that is, those are common things. That's the type of activity that we're accepting. And it's 3 or more days a week for 10 consecutive minutes. So what does that do for you? What does that question mean? What does that do for you, right? So let's go down. I'm going to come back to this, kind of the rules of our underwriting on the application. But I want to show you, what does this mean? So we look at some of these. So like anemia here you see. Anemia is graded, but with the activity credit, it's standard. So it's taking a lot of our medical conditions and lifestyle factors and upgrading them. And there's about 15 to 18 of these on here. We're going to go through them all. I want you guys to see exactly what we're looking at here with these and show you exactly what medical conditions and lifestyle factors we're talking about, because a lot of you are probably thinking, oh, they're things that I'm never going to run across, which is false. These are things that you're seeing on a daily basis. I guarantee, because I've been there and I've done it and I've run across these clients before. You're seeing these on a daily basis. So we start with anemia. Asthma. So asthma, if it's mild with no symptoms, all that, is preferred. But if they have chronic asthma, it's standard. But with the activity credit, it's preferred. So, there's like a guy, we were watching American Ninja Warrior last night. He has asthma. For him, it's chronic because it's pretty bad. He couldn't even finish the race because he got all caught up. But, he's doing physical activity probably every day. So he's going to get preferred in this case, right? That's exactly what we're talking about. We look at things like black lung. Now, black lung is the only one on this list that I've never come across. Every single one of these that I'm going to share with you on this activity credit, black lung is the only one I've never, ever come across. Black lung, standard with activity credit preferred. You got things like bipolar, that's preferred. Autism, mild, it's highly functional, is preferred. You get a lot of preferreds on here. Bronchitis, it's standard. With the AC, it's preferred. We go through here some more. You got COPD is standard with activity credits preferred. I just want to share with you that congestive heart failure is standard with us. What else do we have here? Emphysema, standard. With DAC, it's preferred. Diabetes type 1 and 2. Type 1 and 2 is standard. So I like to point out a couple of things that are relevant. So heart disease is preferred. I'm going to come back to that in a second. I point that out for a very important reason I'm going to come back and share with you. Hospitalization, if they're currently hospitalized, it's a decline. If they've been hospitalized in the last 12 months, it's a standard. But if they're out of the hospital, even though it was in the last 12 months, but they have the activity credit, it's preferred. Let's see here, nothing left on there. Respiratory disease is standard, but the ACS preferred. We got things like schizophrenia and seizures that are preferred. We got sleep apnea with supplemental oxygen or an oxygen concentrator is standard. But if they have that activity credit, it's preferred. Now CPAP without supplemental oxygen is preferred in itself. Stroke is standard with activity credit, it's preferred. Then I think the last one is TIA, standard with activity credit is preferred, and that is it. So those are all of the medical conditions or lifestyle factors that you're working with that are affected by that activity credit. Now, I want to just take a step and talk about the rules real quick, because I'm going to give you guys some scenarios. So the rules here. You can have as many preferred as you want, and it's going to be preferred. You can have as many preferreds as you want. You throw one standard medical condition in there, and it's standard. So you could have as many preferred and standards as you want, or as many preferreds as you want, but if you throw two standards in, it's going to be graded. And then, again, you can have many preferreds as you want, but if you get, it's 4 or more medical conditions that are standard or graded, you're a decline. So, and give you some examples. So let's run through some things. So I pointed out heart disease, right? And you can see heart disease, see heart disease, see heart disease, see heart disease. What else? See heart disease. So I'm going to share something with you guys. A client could literally have a bypass. They could have atrial fibrillation. They could have arrhythmia. They could have angina. They can have all those. It doesn't matter. They can have every single medical condition on this as a C heart disease, and it's going to be preferred. Because it goes by the question. We ask for heart disease. We're not asking for all of these specifically because all of them point right back to heart disease. So they could have literally everything on this list that says C heart disease, and they're going to get preferred if that's their only issue, right? So that's a phenomenal thing I wanted to point out to you, because there are some of these that that you see. I mean, heart disease is really, but congestive heart failure is the same thing. They could have congestive heart failure along with diastolic heart failure, along with heart failure, but it all points back to congestive heart failure, which is a standard. So they can have all those things, and it would still be a standard. It's asked one time in a question. We don't ask about heart failure. We ask about congestive heart failure. So heart failure just points back to congestive heart failure, but we asked about congestive, so it points to that, and that would be a standard. So in things like, let's say, just to give you a standard deal, we would have, let's say we have, let's use some things here. So where's my preferred stuff? Let's find. So we have depression, and we have Crohn's disease, but then we have congestive heart failure. So that's 2 preferreds with a standard. That means you're going to get standard, right? Now, if you had things like depression and then Crohn's disease, but you had COPD, that would be a standard unless they have the activity credit that pushes them to preferred. Then you've got all preferreds. Now they're a preferred. So another example I like to bring up, let's say you have you had a stroke, right? So a stroke is standard, but you were hospitalized in the last 12 months. So that's a standard. That's 2 standards right there. That means you're going to be a graded. Now, a stroke and hospitalization both have the activity credit. The thing is, with the activity credit, we can only use it on one medical condition. So you can't use it on both. So if you have a stroke and you're hospitalized in the last 12 months, we can use it on, like, say, the hospitalization, which pushes them to preferred, but you have a preferred and a standard, which is going to make them standard. But it is better than having two standards, which would have made them a graded, right? So that's another scenario that you're going to come across, maybe. Like a stroke and hospitalization, or a TIA and hospitalization, things like that. Again, you can only use the activity credit on one of the things. And then again, if you come across, you have respiratory disease, you have a stroke, you have TIA, and you would have, what's another one that's standard? And kidney failure, but you have no activity credit. That's 4 standards. That's going to be a decline. And if you had any gradeds in there, which we don't have a lot of gradeds on here, to be honest with you. I mean, if you look through this list, there's some declines, but there's not a lot of gradeds on here. We're not giving you guys a lot of gradeds. The gradeds are coming from multiple standards, is what's happening. So that's some scenarios to how the rules of our application and how you can then, remember that also includes height and weight too. So you got to include height and weight in there as well. So that's kind of the rules of our application. I wanted to run through that with you, and I'd like to spend a lot of time on that. I know I have about 17 minutes left, which a lot of this other stuff I'll go pretty quickly, but I wanted to really walk through that application and to share with you all the things that you're getting preferred now on. A lot of things that you're not getting preferred or even standard in some scenarios. If you have a stroke and you're hospitalized in the last 12 months, can you tell me, with the activity credit, what you're getting a standard? What are the carriers going to give you a standard rating? Probably not many. We are probably the only one that's going to give you a standard rating on that. So we have a lot of things going on the underwriting side for us right now, which is big. So let's jump back into this. I can take questions at the end. Hopefully I have some time for that, if time allows. I don't see any questions coming in, so I must be doing a phenomenal job. So I'll give myself a pat on the back here. But e-delivery, do we have some questions? Do we have somebody come on, Brad?
Yeah, Jeremiah, they're actually under the questions part, not the chat part.
Oh.
Yeah,
Okay.
there's a few questions underneath there real quick.
I don't have a questions side, unless I'm just missing it. So can you read a couple of them off? I'll try to answer some of them.
You bet, of course. One wanted to check sickle cell anemia to see what that one looked like.
So sickle cell anemia, we can try that. So let's, sickle cell anemia is a decline.
Okay. And then just a few questions on the agent guide. We do have that available, so you can reach out to your marketer and they can send that out. And I'll provide this question list out to the marketers as well, to Nate, Rick, and Tom, and they'll be able to send those out to you as well.
And while you're looking for the next question, just to throw that out, so they're going to be able to send you a link as well. So what I do and what I suggest you do is take that link, open it up on your phone, for most of you that have smartphones, which is mostly everybody, and you can save that link to your home screen. And then what I do, because I travel a lot, I'm at a lot of events and things, and I can't memorize all this, but I can, I actually created a Transamerica folder on my home screen. I drug this product guide into that Transamerica folder. Now I know where to go get it every time I need it. So just something for you guys to take away from this to maybe do once you get that link. Any other questions on there, Brad?
Yeah, as far as the nursing home benefit, does that get paid out tax-free?
It does. It's just like a living benefits rider or anything else. So it's all tax-free. Yep.
Yep, just an advancement of the death benefit.
Exactly. Yep.
Yep. And then got a question about how do premiums compare to competitors who are usually table 4 to 8. And I know you guys are competitive at most all rates anyway, so.
Yeah, I mean, being that specific, I would, I'd suggest you run a couple of different columns. I don't know off the top of my head how competitive we are there, but I'm with Brad in saying that, I mean, we've been doing final expense for a long time, and we've been really good at it. As far as rates are concerned, they've always been top notch. We've had some servicing issues and things like that that we're correcting, and I'll share a little bit about that. But That's the only where we've kind of failed in the past, and I'll be honest with you, but our rates have always been phenomenal. So I would say we're probably very competitive in that market right there. Anything else before I jump to the rest of this?
Nope, I'll let you get to the end of it, and then we can answer any other questions at the end.
Cool, sounds good. Thanks, Brad. All right, so let's jump back in. E-delivery. So why is this important? You have to consent to it, so the clients will have to consent to it, but it's important for a couple of things. It avoids the delays in mailing out, printing and mailing out that policy, which takes about 7 to 10 business days to even get, to you, right? So we're going to print and mail that out, and it's going to take 7 to 10 business days to get to you. But if we do the e-delivery, we email all those forms, all those delivery receipts and things to the client. They can sign them electronically. Again, which you can do that very quickly, so it leads to faster policy placement. And then once we get that policy in place, obviously your clients are covered quicker, and then you get your commissions faster. So it saves time and effort, and it's also a quicker process. So try to engage your clients in that e-delivery. E-delivery notifications. So if you guys are working with someone in your office, maybe an admin or maybe just anybody that you feel like you can trust with your pending business, you can add them as a case manager by putting their name and email and phone number in there. They don't have to be licensed. They don't have to be anything. It could be like your 18-year-old son, if you're trying to, your daughter, if you're trying to teach them the business, and use them to follow up on your cases while you're out writing more business. You can add their information in, and we can include them on any emails that go out as far as pending business is concerned. So what happens on the e-delivery, right? So you as the agent and the owner are going to receive a link. The insured owner or payer, they must complete that within 20 calendar days. So they will get an initial email, they'll get a reminder in 7 calendar days and a reminder in 14 calendar days, and then at 20, we're just going to mail the policy out to them. You as the agent, once you receive that e-delivery notification, make sure you're going to be prompted to create a DocFast account. Make sure you do that. So here's some things that I kind of showed on there, but here's some things that conditions that would generally be eligible. Well, they weren't eligible for preferred, but now they are. So there, I wanted to list these off. I showed you a few of them on there, but here's a list of them, so you can take a screenshot if you want. And I will tell you, as far as that product guide goes, if it's not listed on the product guide, it is preferred. And I will tell you guys straight out that we are not concerned about the medications. We are concerned about what the medications are used for. Does he use a medication because he had a heart attack? Do they use medications because they have diabetes? Now with diabetes, with their A1Cs, that may get into a little bit more of the underwriting there a little bit. The underwriter might have to look at it, but for the most part, we are generally just focusing on the medical condition and lifestyle factor. We're not really concerned about the medications. Like for high blood pressure is not on our underwriting guide. So if they're taking medication for it, it's preferred. It's not on our underwriting guide at all. Like cholesterol is not on our underwriting guide. It's preferred. So it's not, those medications don't matter with Transamerica anymore, really, to be honest with you. I went over, this is the list of changes that we made. We talked about a lot of them. I talked about the rules, talked about the activity credit, scenarios I like to share with you guys. Michael, 5'11", he has Humira for Crohn's disease, lisinopril for high blood pressure, tramadol for chronic pain, and citalopram for depression. A lot of these aren't even on. Crohn's disease is on there, but it's preferred. The rest of these aren't even. Depression's on there, but it's preferred. So Michael gets a preferred. Everything that we look at on here, even reckless driving, and over 5 years ago, falls in the preferred category. So Michael gets preferred in this situation. I know a lot of carriers go off of medications. If you have 3 or more medications, sometimes you can't even get preferred. You got to go to standard, sometimes graded, depending on the medication. So this is where we're doing things a little bit different. And they could have 20 medications and still get preferred, as long as all the lifestyle factors, if any of them affecting lifestyle factors fall into preferred, it's going to be preferred. We have shown this is kind of your average, this is like your basic, final expense client, high blood pressure, diabetes, cholesterol. Well, high blood pressure and cholesterol are not even on there, so preferred. Diabetes is standard. So guess what? She has 2 preferred and 1 standard. The alcohol abuse is also a standard, but that doesn't fall into a medical condition. It's a lifestyle factor. So she gets standard, right? So standard for her in this regard. Then we have Alex. Congestive heart failure is graded with his, he has height and weight standard, it's medical conditions graded. But with the activity credit, it bumps him to standard. And I want to point out one thing, that 5'8", 275 is standard. Height and weight is standard with Transamerica at 5'8", 275. But his congestive heart failure puts him at graded. With the activity credit, moves him to standard. John here, I like to point out this one just for the height and weight, because height and weight is 6'306", and if you look down here, his height and weight is standard. So not only do we have amazing underwriting that we're, things that we're doing with our activity credit and other underwriting factors, our height and weight is very legit as well. So guys, there are a ton of clients that I know that you're thinking about right now that could benefit from the activity credit, could benefit from our lenient underwriting, could benefit from our lenient height and weight charts. That's all business that we want and want to come into us. So please reach out to your marketer at Premier and get started. If you're not, if you're not contracted, get contracted. If you're contracted, get that product guide and let's go see those clients, right? Let's take advantage of what we're doing right now. Here's some decision emails you're going to get. Approved as applied, obviously the one we always want, so great. You cannot reply to these. You come from no replies, so you can't reply to these, but you get approved as applied. Other than applied for, will give you what they were approved for and why. That's the first question out of most clients' mouth is why wasn't I preferred? Why am I standard? Well, now we give you an answer to that question instead of you not having an answer to that question. Referred to underwriter, I will tell you a majority of these will be answered within 24 hours. Some same day, some 48 hours later, but a majority of these are going to be back to you within 24 hours. And declines, we give you, that's declined and why it's declined so that you can go from there and transition to another product, another carrier. And the biggest thing about, you get the why question, why was I standard instead of preferred? But you also get, even in my example for standard, it has diabetes, where you get clients that are like, I don't take insulin, I've never been diagnosed with diabetes. Well, what do you do with that? Well, with Transamerica, you can contact Milliman, you or the client. Actually, the client probably better. You can contact with the client, or the client can reach out on their own. And here's the email and phone number to give your client. To say, this wasn't run by me. I don't discount you saying that you never have been diagnosed with this, but really to get that information on why that was put on here, you need to contact this company here. This runs all the medical data, and they'll be able to answer a lot of your questions regarding why diabetes showed up in your medical background. And it's easy as that, and you can call with them as well. Here's our rates. So we have male 55, female 55, stacked on top of each other, 15,000. See, top rates. Beat out most of the top carriers in the industry right now. Some of them by multiple dollars. Same with 65, male and female, again, beating out most carriers by multiple dollars. Again, we're not new to this business, something we've been doing for a long time. Our rates have always been there. And now we're coming out with things like case management. So for you guys specifically, by the end of October, you guys will have case management. Now where you or your marketers at Premier will be able to contact people, specific people that are part of that case management team that works with you guys directly on, talking on getting forms matched off, getting things in, getting verbal updates to your policies, and they'll be following up with you as well. They're reaching out to you or even your marketers with information on the status of your policies, what we need, and what they can take from you. So that's coming for you guys in October, end of October. Also, we did outsource a lot of our processing side of the business a couple years ago, and that's really come back to haunt us. I'll be honest with you, and you guys probably know that. But guess what? That's coming back into the States. It's coming back to under Transamerica umbrella. So it's not going to be under TCS. It's not going to be outsourced anymore. We're bringing that back, and that should transition over the next 6 to 18 months. So you should see a lot of better customer support, case management. All that's going to become better here in the near future for you guys. Along with Social Security billing, we did shorten up our setup time from 10 to 3 days. So now if you get an app in 3 days prior to their draft date, we can draft their next billing cycle for Social Security instead of having to wait till the following month. Additional resources. Before I get to that, I want to share just one thing with you guys. This brokerage convention. This is a trip that Transamerica does every year. Next year, we're going to the Solage Resort in Napa Valley, April 15th and 19th. So mark those dates down. I'd love to see you there. Any production across any of our product lines, which again, all of our products are available on eApp as well, from IUL to lifetime whole life to term to final expense. All products are on eApp, but anything placed and issued during January 1st to December 1st of this year is going to count. You need $90,000 in paid premium to get down there, which I know most of you can do that in 3 months. So we want your business. We're trying to earn it. I think I've given you a ton of things to go off of today to visit with your clients that could definitely help you make this trip. And it's definitely not too late for some of you. I know that. But one thing I'm gonna actually stop real quick and just see if there's any questions, because I want to see you down there. I want to be by the pool having some drinks and take you out to dinners and do excursions with you and just get to relax with you and show you my and Transamerica's appreciation for you doing business with us over the past year. But before I go into these websites, I want to see, Brett, is there any questions that have come up since last time we ran through them? Oh, Brad, you there?
There we go. Sorry about that.
All good. Any questions on?
Just a couple questions around the signature process here. If there's a different options for seniors to sign, just because it's a difficult process sometimes.
Yeah, right now it's still email currently, but I will let you guys in on a little secret is that we're going to have a new final expense app coming out in the beginning of next year that's going to inherit things like text to pin signature and also sign on the iPad type of deal. So there's going to be some extra signature methods come with this new product that I think you guys are really going to enjoy, and I can't wait to roll that out next year. But currently, right now, there is just email signature at this point in time, or wet signature.
Okay, and there is still a paper app available if we need it, right?
There is still a paper app if you need it. Yep.
Absolutely. All right, perfect. And let me see what else we have for questions here. Got a couple underwriting questions.
Yeah, go ahead.
So if we look at asthma, potentially chronic due to multiple inhalers plus diabetes with neuropathy, with an activity credit.
All right, so asthma, let's take a look at that. Where do we have it here?
And the nice thing, like you mentioned, is if they do have multiple impairments, we can always reach out and ask the questions as well.
Definitely. We got asthma here, so it sounds like it's chronic. So with activity credit, it'd be pushed to preferred. And then they had, what was the other one?
Diabetes with neuropathy.
So diabetes is standard. So as long as they have the activity credits, they push the asthma to preferred, and they have diabetes, which is standard. So that would give them a standard rating with the things that you just mentioned to me. So it doesn't have neuropathy in here. So neuropathy doesn't really factor into this at all.
Okay.
So that would be a standard rating in that case. Now, if it didn't have the activity credits to standards, that would be a graded.
Okay.
Any other quick underwriting ones we can?
Heart condition with COPD.
So heart condition, we can do. It depends on what the heart condition is, but a lot of the stuff's going to point to either congestive heart failure or heart disease. If it points to heart disease, is preferred. So I would say heart disease preferred with COPD is standard with activity credits. So there you could have activity credit and get 2 preferreds, which would keep them preferred. If you didn't have the activity credit, again, it would be a standard. But if you went to, again, if it was congestive heart, one of these that fell under congestive heart failure instead of heart disease, that means we go to congestive heart failure, which is standard. If you had COPD, which is standard without the activity credit, that's a graded. If they had the activity credit preferred, that means push that to preferred. Preferred and standard would be a standard. Hope it didn't go too fast, but does that make sense for that one?
Yep. Yeah, and again, if there's multiple impairments, we're happy to run those scenarios through for underwriting and see how they fit to make sure we have everything in place there. That looks like that's it for the moment for questions at the moment anyway, Jeremiah. So
awesome. Well, I'll finish with this. It's www.transamerica.com/insert-central. That, guys, because I'm 2 minutes over and I have to jump on another meeting. This is a great website. It has content like webinars, pre-recorded webinars you can learn on your own time. It has social media content, so it shows you how to run a campaign. It also gives you a compliant approved post that you can share in your LinkedIn, Facebook, social media, in your social media lines. We have product information out there. We have contact information out there, review checklists, access to portals, other trainings, and stuff like that. So there's a ton of information out there for you guys. So jump out there if you can and check that out. And if you can, so I'll also send some of this stuff, and Brad and his team have this information as well. They can share that with you as well. So contact your marketer at Premier and have them get you that website if you need it. But with that, Brad, if there's no other questions, I appreciate you having me on today. I hope this was beneficial to a lot of you. I hope you're able to help more clients, which helps you do more business, which helps you make more money. And us here at Transamerica and Premier just want to help support you do more business with Transamerica. So hopefully this helps engage that, and we look forward to seeing that and look forward to working with you guys in the future. So thank you all for being on today, and appreciate everything. Brad, I'll let you close it out and get us out of here.
You betcha, Jeremiah. Thank you very much for joining us today. We appreciate everybody that took time out of their busy day. If there's any additional questions that popped in, we'll make sure we reach out to you and answer those questions. We'll also have a replay of this webinar available to you. So make sure you ask for that if you're looking for it. And we're happy to partner with you on your final expense needs for your clients. Thanks again for taking time out of your day. On behalf of Nate, Rick, and Tom, we hope you have a great rest of your day. And thanks very much. Have a great day. Bye-bye.